Recording in progress. Awesome. Welcome to the South Jersey Soccer Cast, where we discuss the Union, MLS, the U.S. national teams, and more.
I am Matt.
And I'm Jim.
And this is October 13th that we're recording this.
So October 13th means what? This is our season-ending playoff previewing year-end award thing. Yes. Yeah. So we're going to preview the playoffs, talk about the season-ending awards, talk about the last couple games, talk about decision day.
Also talk about any news that happened this week.
Yes.
Leading up to today, as per usual.
Yes. All right, so why don't you kick us off with the news? I think it's going to be a short segment this week.
Yes. It's only one thing. This week we had a coach fired, Caleb Porter, for the Columbus Crew.
Yes. This is not the NFL.
No.
Only one coach is gone. Yes. And he didn't live up to expectations.
No, not at all. He was 45, 43, and 37 as a head coach of the Crew. He did win them their 2020 MLS Cup and the subsequent 2021 Campeones Cup. So he's won some silverware. However, he's missed the playoffs twice in a row. And as talented as the Crew are, that's pretty unacceptable.
Yeah, and as successful as they've been, it's just come up a little short.
Yeah, both seasons.
Yeah.
And he dropped 11 points. Well, I guess the team's dropped 11 points in the 90th minute or later this season.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, they couldn't finish out many games. So I would say he deserves it. It's
a tough racket.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that the team can compete for silverware. They did win the cup, and now you've missed the playoffs twice in a row. And honestly, the team's only gotten stronger. But still, you missed the playoffs twice. It's
with a stronger team.
Yeah, it's rough.
Ugh. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, not much else has been shaken up. I think people are just waiting for the playoffs to start.
Yeah, I mean, there's decision day. The end of season finalists came out today.
Yes.
So, give our opinions on them.
Yeah. So why don't we start with what we were looking for on decision day?
Okay.
So, do you want to kick off our discussion of the games?
Sure. Well, let's start with the Union game.
Okay.
Union won 4-0 over Toronto.
Yes.
It was a pretty good game for the Union. Seemed to bounce back from Charlotte, from Atlanta. Got some momentum going in. Gazdag scored a hat trick. Got him to second on the Golden Boot race, which was so close yet so far.
Yeah. What was it? 1 goal, 1 assist behind.
Yeah, behind Mukhtar.
Behind Hani Mukhtar, yes.
So
we were going to get to that later, who actually won, but that should not be a surprise to anyone.
No. I thought Flock and Matt Real did an excellent job keeping Bernadeschi real quiet.
Yes.
The game. So I was happy to see that in case Wagner does go to Europe, you have a good backup in Matt Real.
That was good.
Great game by anyone's standards.
Yeah. I was happy to see Bedoya come in as a sub. He seemed pretty good. It would have been a real big risk to risk aggravating his injury.
Yeah,
so you probably wouldn't have brought him in.
I think they did aggravate his injury.
Yeah, I know, but
the report earlier today said that Bedoya is not feeling well. He's unhappy with his injury, and he hasn't practiced all week.
Yeah.
But they got the bye, so he has another week to catch up, which
yes.
is a good thing.
That was the other reason why I wanted to. I was happy that they got the bye.
Yes.
Recover from some injuries. I thought McGlynn was okay.
Yeah. He was fine. He wasn't as bad as the past 2 weeks. And Bizo had a great game.
Yes.
Fantastic goal line clearance.
Yes. I was like
So,
Jacob Glesnes level
yeah.
clearance.
Real impressive.
Yeah.
Kept the clean sheet. Gave Blake 1 over on the guy from New York City, Sean Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yes,
All
it
of that
is.
was a good result all around. I don't think there was anything too bad other than, if Bedoya aggravated his injury.
Yeah, I mean,
When he was on the field, it didn't seem like it, but
no, it could have happened in practice since.
yeah.
Just been through wear and tear. We don't know.
And it could have been, it didn't hurt till the morning
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I mean, the only bad thing I could say about that game is Gazdag didn't score 5 goals and got the golden boot. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that was never going to happen.
No.
I wasn't expecting him to get a hat trick. I mean, I know I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that a hat trick would stick him in the middle of the golden boot race, and he did get it, which was awesome.
And it did stick him in the middle of the race.
Yes.
So.
And that was awesome. But did I think he was actually going to get it? No, because hat tricks are hard to come by. Especially since the Union have more than one goal scorer.
Yes.
When it gets rough. Like I said, I agree with everything you said there. It was nice to see them get back on track. They were much happier, I thought, playing. They looked like they were more in sync. Yeah, they looked like they were having fun again.
Yeah. I mean, overall, it was a comfortable win against Toronto.
Yeah. They said good things about JP Delacamera. That was good.
And Danny Higginbottom.
Yes. Yeah. I hope they land somewhere nice.
Yeah. Well, Apple TV deal, don't know. None of the announcers have been officially signed, so
they're probably not going to officially sign anybody till after the playoffs are done, after the cup is
probably.
That's my gut feeling. They may also, if the MLS is still negotiating for some national TV deal on cable through Fox or ESPN or something, they may be waiting for that to shake out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I know people around on the internet are a little stressed over the whole thing.
Yeah,
Who's going to be doing the games?
Some
people are like, good riddance to the local team. We didn't like them, but I think the Union was in the side where if this team is not back calling games, we're going to be unhappy.
Yeah. And it's a good position to be in.
Yeah.
But still is a little harsh, a little sour, seeing that was the last regular season game with that crew.
Yeah, it was a little sad. So, we'll see where they end up.
Yeah. I think that's about as much as I got for the Union game.
Yeah, you hit all the points I had.
Yeah.
Other than you didn't mention Bedoya coming back as a sub, but I kind of jumped in there probably before you had a chance.
Well, why don't we stick to the Eastern Conference?
Okay.
Go to the game that you highlighted.
Yeah, the game I highlighted, really, it was Orlando and Columbus. Columbus took the lead in the first half. Orlando came back, tied it up in the second half. There were lots of near-miss goals. Ran down to almost the very end. It was like the 82nd, 83rd, 84th minute. Handball in the box. Orlando gets a penalty kick. They score. And then there was like 6 or 7 minutes of stoppage time at the end of both halves. because they had hydration breaks and stuff. So it was like really exciting. There was a lot going on. There was good play on both ends. It was, watch the highlights. It's a lot of fun. So if you were not an MLS fan looking to get into the league, that would have been a good game to follow, to have seen.
Yeah.
Definitely nail biting, heart attack inducing for fans of both clubs for sure. So that was a fun one.
Okay. And,
So over in the West,
yes, over in the West.
you picked a game. What was it? Real Salt Lake and the Portland Timbers.
Yes. This had a lot of playoff implications, just like the Orlando City game. Again, it was win and you're in the playoffs. And on their day, Real Salt Lake showed up. Portland really didn't.
Yeah.
RSL won 3-1. They looked dominant. Portland never looked threatening. They never looked like they were the better team. Got a late consolation goal, and they're out.
Yeah. I know when we were sitting down and watching it, it was not the fun what's going to happen thing. It felt like this game is over relatively early.
Yeah.
There was no comeback threat.
It was really surprising that RSL were at home and were so dominant, yet had the minority of possession in the game.
Yeah.
Portland had like 52% possession, which is just about half, but it's still over half, and didn't create anything until the very end, and it was too little too late.
Yeah, that's a shame. So this means no Cascadia team makes the playoffs this year.
Yes.
Which I think hasn't happened for almost a decade.
Quite a long time, yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time. I didn't look up the exact last time, but it's been a while. Yeah. So that, unfortunately, that game was not as fun to watch.
No, well, unless you were an RSL fan.
Of course.
In which case, it was the first good game in a long while for your team. And you're in the playoffs now.
Yeah, so
Regular season doesn't matter anymore.
yeah. So basically, these two games were playing games.
Yes.
For these teams, so
Pretty much.
that was fun.
Yeah.
All right, so then the season ended. They set the playoff bracket. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's talk. Well, we already mentioned it, so let's talk season-ending awards. The Golden Boot, Hani Mukhtar. How many goals did he score? 23?
23.
And he had 11 assists, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. And Gazdag was at 22 and 10. And Derusi was at 22 and 7.
Yeah.
I didn't actually write down those stats. I had to remember. So I want to make sure I got it right. So thank you.
But Nashville's Hani Mukhtar did end up winning the Golden Boot.
Yes.
He was incredible this season. Super fun to watch, just like Gazdag and just like Derusi.
Yeah.
It was a close race right up until the end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They all finished within a goal of each other. And within 4 assists.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it got much tighter at the end.
Yes.
So that was a lot of fun to see and see where it was going to end up. The MLS put up on their website a short video. Well, it's not a short video because it's 23 goals. All of Hani Mukhtar's goals for the year, for the whole year. So that was a fun little diversion I watched.
Yeah. So I saw somewhere, not entirely sure how reliable it was, but apparently Hani Mukhtar is getting looked at to get called up for the German national team.
Oh, okay.
They are seriously struggling for strikers. So whether or not that actually ends up in a call-up is yet to be seen, but it'd be great to see that a very strong European team, or just strong national teams, because Thiago Almada got called up for Argentina. It's really great that they're starting to take MLS seriously and say, yes, this is a league, and if you do well, you will get called up here.
Yeah, then no, that's good. That can only be good things for the league itself. Yeah, and then I guess we'll see when the World Cup starts. Unfortunately, there's no other breaks. I don't think any of the national teams are
No,
playing until then.
no, not until then.
So yeah, so we just have to wait. All right, let's move on to the Landon Donovan MLS Most Valuable Player Award. Is this like over? Is this Hani Mukhtar?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
I mean, Golden Boot winner. He was pretty much all of Nashville's offense.
Yes.
He
Pick,
was incredible. He is the most valuable player in the league right now.
right. He pretty much carried that team, at least offensively, in their attack. So
Yeah.
I get it. Blake was never going to win it, even though he's a finalist.
Yeah. It would have been nice. Would have been nice.
I mean, he's a finalist. He could still win it, but I don't see it happening.
No.
As much as I would like to see it happen, I know Jim Curtin's been talking him up a lot, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be Hani Mukhtar,
Yeah.
and Blake will be Goalkeeper of the Year, which is the next award. Goalkeeper of the Year. Who you got?
Blake.
Okay, I don't think this is much of a contest.
No, I mean, I think it's closer than people will realize
Yeah.
because Jordy Petrovic had an incredible season.
Yes.
He's just slightly worse than Blake in pretty much everything.
And he didn't play the whole year.
Yeah.
If he played the whole year, it might have been a different story.
Yes. Might have been, but still, I think it's Blake. It's got to be him.
Yeah. I have him later.
Yeah.
So, all right. Yeah, I don't know. Blake, with the way the Union defense played, so when he was stopping shots, they were awesome. Like, there was nothing easy about them.
No.
So I think that'll push him over the edge. All right, Defender of the Year.
Okay.
What do we got?
Well, I was kind of torn in between the three finalists of Callens, Glesnes, and Wagner. There's some debate to be had in saying, well, Wagner's a left back. It's not that valuable of a position. Probably shouldn't win Defender of the Year. And if that's the case, give it to Alexander Collins. I think he's had the better season of the two.
Yes.
But Wagner's just been incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gotten 15 assists.
Which is pretty high up on the assist list.
Oh, absolutely. It's number 2.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if he got past or not. I didn't take a look because I think there's somebody else at 14, 15, somewhere in there.
I could be wrong, but I believe he was number 2.
Okay.
Yes, he tied for 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was able to stay there.
Yeah.
Missing the last game and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I
mean, even if Wagner and Glesnes split votes, as deserving as I think Kai Wagner really is. Just watching the fact that, any attack comes down that side between him and Flock, it goes nowhere. And it's just over, and it fades, and it's gone. And, if you weren't watching the game, you don't see it. Because it's not flashy. It's not exciting. It just, the attack just goes away. It fizzles.
yeah.
And that's really what you want from a defender.
Mm-hmm. And it's just a huge bonus that he had 15 assists on the year.
Yes,
Because
that is huge.
Yes, I get it. It's an assist. They shouldn't matter much for Defender of the Year, but if you're looking at his defensive stats, he's in the 97th percentile for blocks. He's in the 83rd percentile for interceptions, the 78th percentile for aerial duels.
Yeah.
He's just a monster in the back line.
Yes.
No matter what, he'll create, he'll destroy attacks. He's fast. He's incredible. And he should win Defender of the Year.
Yeah, I agree. Part of the problem will be Jacob Glensness is also nominated. And again, I know he's had some flashy moments when he saved those goals.
I mean,
when he makes the... Yeah.
I mean, yes, Wagner kills attacks before they even start to happen.
Yes.
However, when needed, Wagner pulls off some serious saves.
Oh, yeah. He does.
So he has some highlight reel defensive moments.
Yes.
Just not as many as Glesnes, for sure. But even still, nothing gets past him, pretty much.
Yes. But
he will just create stuff.
Right. But he doesn't have those highlight reel moments where he's saving the ball off the line like Glesnes does.
Not as
many.
He has a few.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's tough. Yeah. It'll be a shame if they split votes.
Yes.
But, like you said, Alex Callens, he's deserving as well. I don't think there's a bad choice here.
Well, I don't think any of these awards have a bad choice, except for MVP.
Okay.
There's a few bad choices for MVP.
Well. Okay. So that brings us to Newcomer of the Year.
Yes.
So I know you and I disagree on this one.
Well, I'm going to be more realistic in who I think will win this.
Yeah.
Maybe not who should, but who will. So I say Thiago Almada for Newcomer of the Year.
Oh, I think he's going to win. It's just not my choice.
Yeah, well, he is my choice because he totally revitalized Atlanta's midfield. He's real creative as an attacking midfielder. He's great in possession, and he's real young too. So Atlanta has a key piece in the midfield locked down. He's going to be incredible. If that team starts to gel and resolves any kind of locker room issues or any kind of other roster building issues that they seem to have, Atlanta's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the East.
Oh, yes. You don't have to convince me.
And I think next year, 2 years, 3 years, Almada continues to play super well. I think he wins MVP. He's that good.
That'll be scary.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the team's not that far out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Jordy Petrovic. I think he came in to some really big shoes and filled them pretty well. I think if you look at that, it's like, what do you want from somebody new to the league taking over for arguably one of the superstars? And
one of the best goalkeepers in the league.
Yes. One of the superstars of the league. I know goalkeepers don't normally raise to that level. So, like, when one does, it's important. So I think that would definitely, that gets my emotions going, and I would love to see him win, but he's not going to.
I mean, Petrovic has a strong shout for Goalkeeper of the Year.
Yeah.
I don't think he was better than Blake, but I could see you saying, well, he's probably number 2 right now, and goalkeepers in the league, he should be a newcomer because Thiago Almada is not number 2 for attacking midfielders in the league.
Yes. But I think the attacking bias in the voters, it's natural, right? Yeah. Attacking is more exciting. It's more fun. I think there's enough bias that's built into just humans in general for that sort of thing, that he's probably not going to win it.
Yeah.
So I think you got the pick right. He's also up for Young Player of the Year.
Yes, and he could win that as well. I would not be shocked.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, late season buzz. Jesus Ferreira goes to the national team, gets a lot of attention.
I
Is
mean,
that
you could say the same with Thiago Almada. He got called up for Argentina.
yes, but the people voting are not Argentinian.
No.
I mean, this is a U.S. and Canadian based league. I think maybe that gets them over the line. I don't know. What's the case for Brenner then? Can you make one?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why he's a finalist.
yeah,
But Brenner was real crucial in Cincinnati's attack, just like Vasquez. That combination of the two really helped them and
yes.
brought them up the table from wooden spoon all the way up into the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I mean,
But
it's a tough one.
I do think it's going to be in between Ferreira and Almada.
And if making the U.S. men's national team for the last break, even though they didn't do so well, brought him enough attention, it might get him over the line.
Might. I think it's a little too close to call right now. I mean, you have, on one hand, a great forward, scores a ton of goals, and Jesus Ferreira. On the other hand, you have a great midfielder in Thiago Almada. And they were both called up by their respective national teams.
Yes.
I think it's more impressive that Almada got called up to the Argentinian national team because this is a super strong powerhouse, one of the favorites going into the World Cup, looking at an MLS player. And I think that really helps the league, and the league might try and push that narrative.
That's true. Do you think the league puts their thumb on the scale on this, or do they just let the voters vote?
Well,
or do you think this is like the bias in the voter themselves? Like, I think the attacking bias exists just inside the voters.
Well, the voters are kind of done by the league, so...
Yeah, but do you think the league pressures the voters to vote a certain way? Or lets them vote?
I mean, I think that the quote-unquote certain media personnel is MLS beat reporters.
Okay.
So they might have some say. Because it's the players and the coaching staff and front office and all that, and also the media. So if you have, like, some media members who are employed by the league might say, vote one way or the other, and see if that can swing it.
Yeah, but the MLS beat reporters also cover the U.S. men's national team.
Yes, they do.
For MLS.
Yes.
So, again, there's a little bit more exposure there.
Yeah. But I will say, no matter who wins this award, I wouldn't say it's undeserved.
No, that's totally fair.
Yeah. So even if there's some kind of influencing happening done by the league, player still deserves it.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I was just asking if you thought there was. I wasn't trying to imply there was. Yeah. So I don't believe that there is. I mean, there's not a whole lot of point in it.
Well, I mean, there is a point.
Yeah,
but why we're having this discussion.
No, I mean, like, the awards are important.
Yes.
I don't think there's a whole lot of benefit for the MLS itself to try and sway the voting. At least not beyond picking their select members of the press.
Yeah.
So I really think there's no reason to call up, a couple of the people in the vote that are going to be voting and kind of trying to lean on them and lobby for specific people.
Yeah.
Leave that up to the head coaches to lobby for their guys.
I mean, like with Curtin and Blake.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been lobbying for him to win MVP for a while.
Yes.
So, but moving on from Young Player of the Year, because not much more else to be said on that.
Yeah.
Let's go on to Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah. Okay.
So, We had a discussion about this earlier
Yes.
today, and you were looking at it as more of a story-based award and seeing, well, this guy suffered the greatest adversity and overcame that the most. And I was looking at it, well, this guy's just the better player. So I'm
Yeah.
saying I want Kai Kamara to win this. He's a pretty good forward. It's really helped Montreal get that number 2 position. Uh, he always seems to score against Philly, and I hate that, but he's just really good. He
Yeah.
came from Finland last season, wasn't too successful there, but he's what 7 goals away from second all time for MLS history.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's incredible, and he's doing this at 38 years old. Mind you, he moved from the U.S. in Colorado all the way over to Finland, then all the way to Montreal, and is still scoring goals in this league
At 38 years old,
at 38 years old.
which is what, 10 years past when most players hit their prime.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, if you want this to be the warm, fuzzy feeling, feel good story kind of thing, you have to go with Gonzalo Higuain. I mean, yes, his story is pretty tragic. Has a pretty tragic start with the loss of his mother. You could probably make the argument his struggles at the beginning of the year were still part of that. Then he gets hurt, and he comes back and does really well. Right? Some people are saying like he basically, drug Miami into the playoffs. So, I mean, I don't know how accurate that was. I mean, it takes a whole team.
Pretty accurate.
I mean, it still takes the rest of the team
Yeah.
to play well.
He's definitely stepped up, and
Yeah.
this is going to be his last season ever. He is retiring as a professional soccer player. So it would be nice to have him win this award through all the injuries and the loss of his mom and all that. I agree. It's just he was benched in the beginning of the season. I'm not entirely sure if you want to say, well, Higuain's been good since like the summer. Kai Kamara's been good all season.
Yes. So where's Kai Kamara's adversity?
Well, I mean, he struggled in the Finnish league,
Right.
and he's come back to a different team than when he left.
Yeah, no, like I said, like the story of the adversity and everything that was going on with him.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for that, this will drive human interest kind of coverage. He's the guy.
Yeah. I mean,
now, is that the criteria? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean,
but looking at comeback player of the year, Kai Kamara literally came back to the league. So,
oh man, you killed my argument.
Yeah.
He came back to the league. All right,
yeah,
thanks.
There you go. Comeback player of the year.
Oh wow. All right, you win. Kai Kamara. So what do we got next?
We got Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year.
Yeah, the Ziggy Schmid Coach of the Year award.
Yeah, we talked about this a number of times as these nominations rolled out. Of course, the initial round of nominations every head coach gets, because every team nominates one coach. Their coach.
Their current coach.
Their current coach, yes. So what I'm looking at here is one coach won the Supporter Shield. One coach has like a bunch of brand new records, and one coach turned a team around.
And I think it's not the coach that won the Shield.
Nope.
And it's not going to be the coach that set all those records.
Nope. It's Wilfred Nancy.
Yeah.
I think he took Montreal, turned him around, along with a bunch of other coaches that have turned their teams around. But I think his turnaround is just objectively better than theirs.
I mean, he
And
just was better.
yeah, I
He
mean,
fought for the Shield. He fought for the East up until the very end with a
yes,
team that no one expected to be competitive.
right. I agree.
And
And
they
it's
just
not
didn't spend that much. So it's not like you're looking at an LAFC situation that just bought a bunch of aging European stars, or like Cincinnati, who bought a few good players for decent amounts of money. Montreal
right.
really didn't do that. So I
Yeah,
think it's got to be Wilfred Nancy.
and when you said was fighting for the Shield up until the end, still technically alive. So LA won that second to last game of the season, and the Shield race was over. So they were, it was still a 3-way race up until that point. It went
Yeah,
from three to over.
and Montreal did what they had to do to win the East on decision day. The Union
Yes.
just won.
Yeah. Would have been very disappointing for me as a fan, but
Yes.
if but
But seeing Montreal fight that hard all season long,
and they're going to be scary in the playoffs.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I would not be terribly shocked to see them in the MLS Cup final.
No, well, we could talk about cup predictions a little bit
Well,
later.
we're talking about the way Wilfred Nancy got his team and the way they've been playing and played through the season. It would not be shocking
No,
if they manage to find their way through all the playoffs.
no,
So
but
yeah, I think he's not only going to win, he's probably the best choice.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
as much as I would love Jim Curtin to win for the Union, I can't give it to him.
Yeah, I mean they were conference final last year.
Shield
Supporter Shield the year before. They don't have that big turnaround.
They were expected to be good.
They were expected to be good. Yes.
And they were.
Yeah.
They were very good.
Yeah. I think if the Union had won the Shield, then maybe the conversation's a little different, but they didn't, so it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we got.
I mean, if Montreal won the Shield, it's unanimous.
Yeah, there's no question.
Yeah.
Like maybe LA is not even on the finalist list.
Yeah.
Because they were also expected to be good.
Yes. And along with all their reinforcements over the summer, that just strengthened that opinion.
Yeah, and it took them a while to work through that chemistry, but they did.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
since it sounds like we're moving on to playoff.
Yeah, let's talk about playoffs.
Let's start talking and
playoffs.
actually move on.
All right, so what do we got? First round.
Yes.
So the first two games, the New York Red Bulls are hosting Cincinnati. So that's going to be at Red Bull Arena. Red Bulls don't play well at home.
No.
Cincinnati probably
Cincinnati's
wins.
A scary team.
They're a scary team. I think they win.
Yeah, I think they win.
I mean, do we want to call this an upset or? I mean, it is technically.
Technically, yeah, it's an upset.
But I think this is going to be an expected upset.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Cincinnati won.
No, not at all. I think the Red Bulls could potentially do it. I think they got a little less of a chance than Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So Cincinnati is looking to come into Philly for the second round. All right.
Which is scary.
I know. Cincinnati's the one team that's got you worried.
Well, there's two teams.
Well, okay. Besides Montreal,
yeah.
Cincinnati's the other team.
Yes.
All right. The LA Galaxy is hosting Nashville. So that's happening in LA. Nashville going to LA. The Galaxy's at home. I mean, I think this is probably picking the victim of LAFC after the bye.
I wouldn't be so sure of that. If the Galaxy win, I'd say LAFC wins comfortably. If Nashville win, it's a different conversation.
I still think LAFC wins, but it's not comfortable.
I mean, LAFC, let's say Nashville upsets the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Let's run with that real quick.
All right.
LAFC would have to be looking for revenge on decision day because Nashville went to LA, beat them 1-0.
Yes.
And LAFC were real good that game.
Mm-hmm.
Nashville were just better.
Yes. And it's LAFC will be looking for revenge. Maybe.
And Nashville knows that they can go to LA and beat LAFC and say, let's do it again.
They may not be looking for revenge because they didn't have a whole lot to play for at that point. Everything was locked up.
They still played hard.
They did play hard. Now, don't get me wrong. They played hard.
I mean, you don't get about 4.5 expected goals without playing hard.
Yeah, that stings.
Yeah.
Not being able to find the back of the net. Especially with 4.5 expected goals. If you're at like 1.5 and you didn't find the back of the net, you had a bad day. If you're at 4.5 and you're shut out, something went wrong.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't count out the revenge factor.
No.
I think
I also wouldn't count out the Galaxy.
No.
I mean, I would say the Galaxy have limped into the playoffs with Ricky Pooch.
Yeah.
Coming in and pretty much saving their season. But the first and major hurdle is against Nashville.
Right.
And if Nashville beats the Galaxy, I think they sweep LA.
Okay. No, that's interesting.
Yeah,
so do you think Nashville will upset the Galaxy?
Honestly, no.
Okay. I don't have them actually upsetting them either.
No. Nashville haven't been too good recently.
Yeah.
The Galaxy have been on an upswing, but how much of that is down to individual brilliance? I'll let you decide.
Yeah. Again, home field's big.
It is, but it's LA. LA seems to have a home field.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah.
All right. So on to Sunday. Austin and Salt Lake. So the RSL's traveling to Texas.
Well, RSL had their first good game in a long time on decision day.
Yes.
I think Austin win comfortably.
Austin peaked and then fell off a little, but not too far.
I mean, they just weren't title contenders.
Right.
But
they were still good.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they can't beat Real Salt Lake in Austin.
They earned the number 2 seed for sure.
And it was a comfortable number 2.
Yeah.
Dallas were a little far behind them.
Yeah. So I don't think RSL's got enough left in the tank.
I think they did what they needed to do to make the playoffs, and
yeah,
I still think that their form has been bad. But again, once you make the playoffs, regular season doesn't matter anymore.
Right. All right. Will Orlando pull off a miracle in Montreal?
No.
No. Just no.
No. Montreal's too good.
Okay. I really got nothing else. That's why I asked, will they pull off a miracle? No.
I know you were saying that Orlando's been overlooked. And that's kind of why you're like, well, they're going to try and prove everyone wrong. Montreal's going to do the same.
Right.
Montreal's getting overlooked way too much.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I mean, because they're probably over their Open Cup hangover, if they ever had one. I mean, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Because of the way the schedule worked out.
I mean, the first game after the Cup, they played the Union and got beat, 5-1?
Yeah. That might have been their hangover.
The Union, so.
Yes. And that might have been the hangover. That might have just been the Union were peaking at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They should be good. They've played a lot of matches rolling into the end of the season. They had what? The final 2 weeks they had Wednesday games.
Yeah.
So that would have
They've
been
had a tight schedule so far.
yeah. So this gives them a good break
Mm-hmm.
because they go from Sunday to Saturday. If Orlando's gonna pull off the miracle, it'll be a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely.
But only because it'll be so huge and unexpected. All right. Monday night. I think they're Monday. Monday night. I forget. What time are they playing? Might be Monday afternoon. NYCFC is hosting Miami at Citi Field, which was rumored to be, which was actually Red Bull Arena for a while, then the Mets
Yes.
exited the playoffs. The Yankees are still in, so Citi Field.
Yeah.
So instead of in the Bronx and Queens, I believe is where Citi Field is. Just grumpy dog.
Yeah. Old man dog.
Old man dog.
But I do think Miami pulls the upset.
Yes. My gut's telling me Miami. I look at the numbers and objectively, it should be New York City AFC.
I mean, since Tati Castellanos left New York City and since their head coach was poached, I haven't been convinced.
They kind of righted the ship there at the end, though.
Yeah, but Miami's been on a tear.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to normal is worse than getting hot right now.
Yes. And I think that
Playoffs are all about who's the hottest currently.
yeah.
And Miami's real good. They've been
Yes.
playing real well.
Yeah, and I'm not going to argue. I think Miami's going to win. I just can't tell you why. It's just a feeling.
I'd be happy if Miami won. I don't want New York City to play in the playoffs anymore.
Right.
But I still am more convinced by Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be a home field for the players. Yes. No. Is it still in New York City? Yes. Have they played on this field before? No.
I thought they had, but it's rare.
Not in a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not that long, but it's not Yankee Stadium.
Right. I think they play more at Red Bull Arena than at Citi Field.
Yeah. It's not what they're used to.
No. No, and it's odd.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure they're going to get the crowd at Citi Field.
They probably will.
I mean, it's still in the city, so they probably will.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to draw the crowd at Red Bull Arena.
No. Well, that's outside the city.
Yes. So that would have been worse for them.
Yes.
But it's still Citi Field. Yeah. All right. Last first round game. Dallas is hosting Minnesota.
I think it's a boring game. Dallas wins.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any upset here.
1-0, 2-1.
Yeah.
I think it's Dallas.
No fireworks. Just it's going to be a game. And if you're a fan of either team, it'll be a lot of fun because it's playoffs.
I mean, if you're a fan of the league, it'll be a lot of fun because it's playoffs.
Yeah.
But
true.
I don't know. Nothing about that is interesting to me. Nothing about that matchup excites me. Maybe I just don't know enough about those two teams, and that's entirely possible. But I don't know. Just looking at it, I'm like, eh.
Well, who do you have in the West getting to the Cup final? Because I looked, and I came up with Dallas.
I think it's going to be one of the Texas teams.
Okay.
I don't think it's LAFC.
That's pretty much how I came up with Dallas, right? I was going through, and I'm like, looking at the matchups, kind of doing in my head what 538 does. Going, who's going to win this game, and then how's that going to match up? And I ended up with Dallas.
Yeah.
So, but if you're thinking one of the Texas teams, which one, Austin or Dallas?
I don't know.
Okay,
It's hard to decide between the two
it is.
because it's 2 at 7,
Yes.
and then the winner of that plays the winner of the Dallas game. So whoever wins that game gets the cup.
Okay.
I'm leaning more towards Austin.
Fair enough. I mean, they
I
are
think
number 2 for a
Austin-
reason. They cruised into the playoffs.
I think Austin has a better offense than Dallas.
And they would be
And-
playing in Austin.
Yeah. And Austin's a very tough place to play. Now, it's not a lot of travel, and the Dallas team's going to be used to the climate and all that, but the crowd is still insane.
And the crazy green lights.
Yeah. I mean, their first playoff game, they sold out tickets in 6 minutes. So
Yeah.
the crowd is super passionate about this team, and I love to see that.
Yeah. No, it'll be fun.
Mhm.
Either way, it'll be fun.
And on their day, I think Austin's a better team.
Yeah. But somehow I ended up with Dallas winning.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Who knows?
So who do you have coming out of the East?
Montreal.
You really think so?
Yes.
All right. You're no fun.
It's not going to be the Union.
I don't
don't
think
know
so
why.
either, but I'm pulling for them. I think the Union at home, they haven't lost this year.
They haven't
Last year
lost
they were
until
really
do.
good at home.
The
year before they were really good. Yeah.
They didn't lose at home last season until
Right.
they did.
Yeah. No, it's the playoffs. I just think the way the Union play at home, they will be very tough to beat.
Yes. Just
And
like
I-
Austin.
Yes. And I think even as good as Montreal is, they don't win if they have to come to Philly. It will be close, and I will have no fingernails left and maybe in the hospital with a heart attack, but I think they win.
Well, if they do end up going to Philly, you're not going to be there. So,
That's true. Yes, thanks. If it, it is really close, but I'm committed to being in New Hampshire that weekend.
Yeah.
So yes, and it'll be a night game, and I'm probably going to die while driving the RV
yeah.
on the way
Listening to
home,
the radio. Yeah.
listening to the game on the radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I still think Montreal, I think they're the favorites for the East.
Okay.
Maybe it's just the Negadelphia in me that says that the Union aren't going to make it. I would love if they did. Getting one step closer to the cup, getting past that Eastern Conference final would be huge.
Yes, they haven't made that step, and I still think there's a lot of sore feelings from what happened last year.
Yes.
Now, of course, you can't blame the league. You have to blame COVID, which was just doing what it does.
Yeah.
So
It was a bad
hurts.
situation
Yeah.
all around. And my opinions on the Eastern Conference final. But
yeah,
let's say that the Eastern Conference final is between the Union and Montreal. I got to go Montreal.
okay,
Montreal just has the Union's number.
more or less than Cincinnati.
More.
Okay,
Cincinnati this season has the Union's number. Montreal,
we're only talking this season.
I know, but for pretty much as long as I can remember, Montreal has beaten the Union.
Yeah,
So
true. It'll be fun, either way.
yeah, but your MLS Cup matchup is Dallas and Philly?
Yes.
Okay.
As unlikely as that sounds, that's what I ended up with. Whereas you ended up with Austin and Montreal.
Yeah.
So you ended up with the 2 number 2s.
Yes.
Okay.
But
you're putting a lot of stock in that curse of the bye.
not necessarily. I'm just not convinced by LAFC.
I'm not either.
And
I think they're too vulnerable.
yeah. And the Union, we're just going to find some way to mess up somehow. I don't know.
Well, if you think they're going to mess it up and they don't, you're not disappointed.
That's true.
I'll give you that.
But yeah, I got Austin and Montreal, and the game will be in Montreal
Yes.
if that happens.
Yes, that would put it in Montreal.
And probably Montreal wins.
I just want to see the game in Philly.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I want to have a chance to maybe try and get tickets.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work.
No, they got to get there first.
Yes, they have to get there first. So, in was it? How many days? 10,
Or
no, from
For
today,
what?
7 days.
7 days.
We're going. Yes,
Until
it's the
next Thursday?
20th.
Yes.
So
He's
yes,
beating versus either the Red Bulls, who would be great to beat at
yes,
home again, or Cincinnati, who would be great to beat at home this
Yes.
season.
yes. That would be good, and we're going to be there.
Yes.
So that should be fun.
Yeah.
Yes, I know we haven't been able to get to many games, but we're willing to make exceptions and try and get to these. And I'm still missing. I'm still hopeful I'm going to miss one. That means they're playing.
I'm kind of hopeful you get to miss one. No offense, but means they win.
That means they play that one. Yes. Yeah. So that's good. So Montreal and Austin.
Dallas, Philly.
Yes. I think either way that'll be an interesting way to get through the playoff tournament. Because yes, Philly's the number 1 seed. You probably expect both of them to do well. Maybe not both get through, but you would expect them to do well.
I mean,
And the 2 number 2s, you expect them to do well too. So
yes. And knowing how much of a coin flip these playoff games can be, it's going to end up RSL Miami. So
you sure it's Miami?
could be Miami.
Could be Orlando.
Could be. Could be Cincinnati. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got anything else?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
All right, that's all I got. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching and listening to the South Jersey Soccer Cast. If you are on YouTube, please leave some comments. Let us know how we are doing. Then like and subscribe to get notified when we upload next week's episode.